Hey guys, so I wanted to make this video regarding how to use pyramids in Fortnite and how you can use them to enhance your game and make you a better competitive player. A lot of these techniques that I'll be showing, I've learned them from watching the pros. Some of them you've probably already been aware of and you've probably seen the pros use. Some of you might be new to Fortnite and never seen any of these. But basically, I'm going to show you how to implement pyramids in a couple different ways into your game style so you could always get that edge over your opponent. So the first technique we're gonna go over real quickly is building a one by one and then throwing a pyramid overhead. So when you're getting pushed, you get extra cover. So let's say you're in this position, you're getting lit up from the top, and you're throwing floors, throwing floors, throwing floors. If you throw a floor and a pyramid at the same time, and you can spam them in sequence, then it provides a lot of more cover. And usually people will back off or won't know what to do, especially newbier players. They really won't know what to do. This is great because it buys you time to maybe pop off a mini, or also in this meta with the Tommy gun and the P90, this is very essential because if you just throw down the roof, sometimes the bullets will creep in, depending on how fast your ping is, and you will take some damage of the shots coming in through the floor. Now, another cool thing about using a pyramid above you is number one, you could lift these these boxes up a little bit to peek. You know, normally see you wouldn't be able to see anything, but then you lift this and you can see. And then the other cool thing is if you step up here, you could literally like scout out as you wanted to see, you know, and then you could flip your ramp around and keep looking around. If you didn't have this here, you would have an even better view of everything. So this is something that you see a lot of the pros using, especially when they're playing their tournaments or their pro scrims, and they're doing a lot of boxing up. You'll see a lot of this, and this is great because I mean you're basically you know, able to peek here without taking any damage, and you're able to see what's going on around you. So try to use this whenever possible, and it's gonna help you a lot in fights. Now let's talk about using pyramids and floors together as a combo. This is very useful in many situations, whether it's you're running from building to building, you want to connect your building to somebody else's building. But for me, the main situation I normally use this in is, for example, if I'm fighting someone, let's say in a position like this, where I might have the high ground on them, I want to push them. They could be in a one by one, or maybe they're down on the ground, and you know I'm at a lower level, like let's say something like this, and the person's behind that box, or up in that one by one. You know, let's say you put in a couple of shots and intimidate the person, and you want to push him, but he might have a Tommy gun, he might have a P90, so you want to just run, and then here you would have, you know, whatever shot you needed to get to the person. And it's just spamming floor pyramid, floor pyramid. It's really good if you want to try to connect to somebody else's building. Also, if you want to get from one point to the other. I use it all the time when I'm pushing people under me. Um, Literally almost every single time I push somebody under me, I'll throw that, and it's very effective, very effective, and it's gonna help you win some battles here and there. So another technique that I want to go over is basically how you can edit a pyramid to make it into a ramp. Now a lot of you know this technique, as this was used a lot before Builder Pro came out and before people really started figuring out that pyramids actually had value outside of just being kind of useless. And basically is before you place a structure down, you could edit, you could pre-edit, and then set it to whatever you like. In this case, we would make it into a ramp that goes downward, and then if you need it to go up and then down, well, that's a ramp, sorry, then you could place it down like this. So if you were in a sticky situation, now my ramps are upside down, great. If you're in a sticky situation where you need it to get down, it'll be really simple. Instead of having to, you know, if you had stairs, rotate them, which obviously on PS4 it takes like a little bit of mind training to do that. You could just have that set. Now if you choose to do that, which obviously makes that a lot easier, then you're gonna have to re-edit it if you wanted to make it into a pyramid mid game. But you know, I personally don't like to use that. I have other ways of getting down fast from structures now. There's other techniques, and I prefer to keep my pyramids as pyramids because I like implementing the roof pyramid a lot when I'm fighting. So another technique you could use, let's say you're in a situation where you just landed, you don't have any guns, and all you have is your pickaxe, or you have a shoddy, or you're very hurt, and you want to, let's say, take a chug, or you want to take a shield. Another great way to use a pyramid, in case you don't have, let's say you don't have enough wood to throw down a 1x1, you might only have 10 wood or 20 wood, um, and you kind of want to do things incognito, you don't want to draw attention to yourself, is you literally look down at the ground. You could either be standing or crouching. It's better, I think, if you crouch, and then you can just throw a pyramid over your head, and it'll cover you. And then here, you know, you could pop your mini, you could pop your shield, and then, you know, edit here. And so when someone's gonna push you up, you could easily blast them. So that's phenomenal. I've seen Cypher PK use this technique when he's been in a situation like he landed Tilted Towers one time and had nothing but like an AR and like 10 wood. So he went to grab a 50 pot and he put himself under the pyramid and used that. And that was when I actually learned about it, and something that I don't use very often because I think it's very situational specific. But if you have brick, it's great because the brick even hides you, so people can't look in there and see if you're in there. And if you could also get creative and like throw like 3 or 4 of these. Let's say you wanted to play mind games with somebody and camp them out. You know, you could literally throw a couple of these and no one's gonna know which one you're inside of. Sometimes people do this with their teammates just for fun and wait for the person to come in and blast them. Now the next one we're going to talk about is going to be the pyramid block. So you'll see this a lot in pro scrims. So let's say simulating a fight here. You're trying to build up, and then I kind of messed this up. You're trying to get built up, and then a guy builds over you. This is kind of a very well-known technique by now, but a lot of people still don't use it, especially on console. So what you want to do is, as soon as the person builds over you, they're usually going to be right around here, like at the base of their stairs. So you have plenty of time to look up. And I like to jump when I do it. Jump and throw a pyramid down. That's going to block them, and especially with players who are inexperienced, it's going to throw them off. They're not going to know what to do. They might not react fast enough. It's a technique that's been around for a while now. For the last couple of months, it's been used heavily in the pro scrims and stuff like that. So a lot of people have seen it, but especially on console, it's not used a lot. So if you use that to your advantage, you're gonna have you're definitely gonna throw the player off. So from here, you have, you know, some options. You could throw a floor under. When you block him, come up. You could try to attack if he hasn't reacted fast enough to it, or you could just, you know, come up, take the high ground from him. If he tries to build this way, you can shoot out his ramp. Also, if you wanted to, you could instead of throwing this floor, you yourself could throw up your own ramp, come up, and then, you know, be even higher when he tries to build up. You could catch him here, here, here. So that's one option. And the other option, which I'm sure many of you have seen, is you throw the pyramid, and as soon as you throw it, you throw 3 walls, and then you instantly activate 2 traps or 1 trap, whichever, to basically get the trap kill. And you'll see a lot of the pros do this. Obviously, I have a slower sensitivity, so for me it's a little bit hard to do that quickly. But if you have a fast sensitivity, you could do that in a glimpse of an eye, and you'll definitely trap the person and get that kill. That's used a lot by like Cypher PK. Daquan uses it a lot. And it's obviously a great skill, and especially on console, it's not used a lot, I think, because of the slower sensitivities, and you know, unfortunately we have to press so many buttons to do things that it makes us a little bit slower. And if you could master doing that on console specifically, then you can get a lot of kills doing it. Now, the real trick to timing that trap kill is being aware of the situation, meaning like, you know, you're gonna get beat out by your opponent, or you might let him beat you out on purpose, right? So if he's building a single ramp, you know that he's gonna beat you out. Let him do it on purpose and then trap him. So basically set him up, bait him into beating you on the high ground if you know you got the trap. If you could do that trap technique on him, you know. So, and also if you're not planning for it, you know, one of the things that you need is the ability to recognize that opening which is hard in the middle of a fight, especially if you're fighting 2, 3 people at the same time to see it. I don't see it that often because it's something that I haven't really engraved in my mind as much. I do it more like when somebody's under me, I'll do the trap like this and then try to catch them. It's a little bit easier. But yeah, if you do that, you should probably get a lot of kills. Something that you could do as far as like a technique or a way for you to practice this would be maybe, you know, finding a vending machine in Playground that has traps, buying a bunch of them, and then maybe having a buddy and you just play like build fights where you can only kill each other with traps, and using that to basically ingrain this into your mind that when I see this opening, I'm gonna use the trap kill. Because if not, you probably will miss it. You know, think about it later, but then the moment won't be there. And since every time you fight, you don't always get the opportunities to trap kill somebody, you kind of have to train yourself to do it. Now, the other technique I wanted to talk about was using pyramids to sneak into buildings, which a lot of people don't know actually, that you could go into these windows like this. You could jump through these windows as well, but it's a little bit harder, and sometimes if you get the jump wrong, let's say you hit this, you get stuck, you know. So like there, and if you're in a hurry, you're trying to run away from somebody, or you're trying to get to somebody, see, it's much harder. But if you just run and climb over, you know, you could get in real fast. You could also get into these windows, and I do this all the time in Tilted Towers because I land tilted almost every game. So I find myself a lot in this position a lot where people are trying to get this chest, you know, so I could easily walk out, or they're down here fighting each other and I could come out. So I come out, I'll throw a floor and then a pyramid just like that, just to, you know, back using the floor pyramid technique to basically hold myself up, and then I can pop off shots. If I get shot at, I'll run back in, and then usually what I'll do is I'll come up here and throw another pyramid down, and I could go down. I use this one a lot to pop trying to grab that chest, or if you hear people under you, a lot of times people are on this side, you could come out this window as well. It's also very useful over here at the, what I like to call Little Brick Tower. People, you know, in there it's like a little bit of a labyrinth with a lot of floors, and sometimes you don't know exactly what floor a player is going to be at. So I like to, you know, camp the windows, and you could easily just come in from any angle here, and if you need to get back out, same thing, you walk back out. Now, it's not going to work on these smaller windows. You just unfortunately cannot crawl in through these, and you can't do it on the windows on Big Brick as well. But all of the windows in Tilted except for these right here, you can't do it on those. You could do it in, and same thing with like this position if you needed to come in through here. And you know, it's little things like that that are gonna throw off your opponent when you're fighting. If you start implementing, you know, pyramids like that into your arsenal, you're gonna have a smaller edge over somebody. But every time you develop a little bit of an edge on another player, it's gonna make you a better player, and it's gonna give you a little bit of an edge that you need to beat somebody out in a fight. And that's all Fortnite really is. It's just having an edge over your opponent. Like, I'm sure as many times where you guys have gotten stuck right here trying to fight somebody, but you know, maybe just throw a pyramid and you can no problem. You know, same thing with these windows, very easy. So try to implement that into your game, and I'm sure that these things are gonna help all of you, because they've definitely helped me, and I've learned all of this from watching other players and experimenting as well in Playground. Once again, if you like the video, please like and subscribe, as I'm trying to build this community, and this community is basically going to be all about competitive playing and competitive mindset and how to get better at Fortnite. So if you enjoy that, please write down on the comments, and if you have any suggestions for any type of video that you want to see, please let me know too, and I'll be more than glad to make that for you guys. Thank you so much.